everybody, and welcome to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship, hosted by Knight in the Nightly Confederation. You saw them there in the opening ceremony. Here we are with the first event, training course. Quite a simple event, really. An obstacle course set out before the marbles. 4 marbles at a time will roll down and try to get to the end as quick as they can. Top 2 will advance to the semi-finals. And the finals, and the winner of the final, of course, win the first gold medal of the tournament. Be quite an interesting event. We did see it in the qualifiers. Got some interesting results there, so we'll see how we do. Here is the example run. We have the corporation marbles as well as the security marble. Normally we'd have Chivalry, the president of the Nightly Confederation, but they were not available today, unfortunately. Disciples T, they will take the win. 5.833 with their time. Not actually a bad time, considering what we saw in the qualifiers. But here we go with the first heat. It is our host, Knight, Blue Bottle, Nebula, and Discharge. Down they come. Knight, they take the lead. Discharge is in second along with Nebula. Knight will take the win, and Blue Bottle manages to get around, and they will be moving on with Knight. Very nicely done here by the host. Just got in the lead early and didn't look back. Blue Bottle, however, they made a nice move on Discharge here, managing to get around, taking the quick path, and they will move on along with Knight. Discharge and Nebula are eliminated. Heat 2, we see Raven, Lollipop, Anchor, and Pixie. Pretty strong heat here as they come down. Looks like it's Lollipop and Anchor ahead of the rest. Anchor has some trouble, but Raven or Pixie, neither of them will be able to capitalize on it. And so Lollipop and Anchor will be moving on. Nicely done there by those two marbles. Both of them won that little 1v1 that starts it off. Lollipop had some trouble there, but they managed to make it back. Raven and Pixie, they just had trouble and were not able to overtake either Lollipop or Anchor. And so those two will be the ones moving on. Next up, we have Derek, Mantis, Black Rose, and White Flame. Down they come. Mantis, they're out to the lead. Derek there as well. Here comes Black Rose around the side, and I think they managed to get past. That was very close. White Flame definitely not in it, but between Mantis, Black Rose, and Derek, it was quite a close race. Mantis, they had a good start along with Derek. Black Rose seemed to get stuck behind, but here they come making the move around the side, and yes, it will be Mantis and Black Rose. Derek just barely misses out, even with a strong time. And those two move on. Final heat, we got Ruby, Lapis, Mahi, and Andromeda. Andromeda, they're out to the lead. Mahi makes a nice pass past Ruby, and they manage to pass Andromeda as well for the win. Ruby and Lapis are the ones eliminated there. Quite a close race at the start we saw here. Andromeda, they got out to quite a good lead, managed to get past, but then look at this move from Mahi. Mahi just gets around Ruby. They all kind of go the same way. Mahi makes another nice move to get past Andromeda to take the win. Ruby and Lapis are eliminated. We look at the standings from 9th to 16th. You got Derek. They actually had a pretty strong time with 5.624. Ruby in 10th is 5.940. We're down to Nebula 7.521. That is not a good time for that marble. They will be in last place. First semi-final. Anchor, Mantis, Knight, and Mahi. Down they come. Mantis has the lead along with Knight, but they get pushed by Anchor, get stuck there. Mantis to take the win. Anchor manages to hold off Mahi for second place. Knight, that was very, very unlucky for what happened to them. Let's take another look at it here. Mantis, they had the lead. Knight seemed to be doing well, but they got blocked by Anchor there and just couldn't get going again. That's quite unlucky for them. Mantis and Anchor will move on. Mahi, they tried to get past but couldn't manage it. And so those two will be moving on ahead of the others. Blue Bottle, Lollipop, Black Rose, and Andromeda. Down they come. Lollipop out to the lead along with Blue Bottle. Andromeda makes the move past. Will either be able to come back from it? No, they cannot. Black Rose and Lollipop will be eliminated there. Blue Bottle and Andromeda, they did quite well throughout the heat. Lollipop and Blue Bottle were in the lead ahead of Andromeda and Black Rose, but here comes Andromeda. Moves past Black Rose and Lollipop in one move, and they just managed to hold on for second place. Black Rose and Lollipop, they did have trouble, and so are eliminated. Taking a look at the results from 5th through 8th, Black Rose, they do manage to take the 5th place spot. That's 11 points for them. We'll have Mahi in 6th, Lollipop in 7th, and Knight, of course, in 8th with that DNF. But here we have the final. Anchor, Andromeda, Blue Bottle, and Mantis. Down they come. Andromeda out to the lead. They look to be running away with it. They got absolutely no challenges and Andromeda will cross the line to win the first event of Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. What a run that was. They just were not challenged at all. Look at this. They use that momentum from that push by Blue Bottle and just run away with it all the way to the end. Anchor, they managed to take the silver medal. Blue Bottle does get the bronze. Mantis, unfortunately, they will be in 4th place. They're not managing to get a medal. Congratulations to Andromeda for winning the first event of this season. Anchor with the silver, of course, and Blue Bottle with the bronze. That does it for the first event of the Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship training course. The standings, of course, are going to be the same as the event standings, as there is no points yet to add this to, since this is the first event, Andromeda being at the top of the standings. Next event will be Uphill Battle, an event not yet seen in the KMC, but has been seen before in other tournaments. So I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. Today we have the second event, an event never seen before in this competition. It is Uphill Battle. In this event, 4 marbles, they'll roll down that first ramp and then roll up the second ramp. It does not matter how far they get up the second ramp, but they have to stay on it as long as they can. The 2 marbles that hit the finish line first will be eliminated and will not move on. The marbles that stay on as long as they can will move on to the next round, and if you manage to stay on the ramp and not fall down, that also counts. Looking at the current standings after the first event, Andromeda is at the top after winning that, so we'll see how the standings look after this event. First up, in the example room, we have Chivalry, the president, as well as the corporation. How will they do? Chivalry, they managed to get stuck there for a moment before falling back down. It is Kortho who takes the win. Moving on, Heat 1, Lapis, Blue Bottle, Nebula, and Andromeda. Down they come. Nebula, they have some trouble. Andromeda and Blue Bottle, they look to be doing the best there. And they look like they will be the ones moving on. They both got quite far up. Nebula and Lapis both had trouble getting far up. Nebula especially, they will have the worst time there, but Andromeda and Blue Bottle will be moving on. Next up, Derek, Knight, Discharge, and Lollipop. Down they come, the host in this heat. They get up quite far, but they fall back down very quickly. Meanwhile, Derek, they managed to get stuck there, and that will be a finish time for them. Very impressive. Quite unfortunate for the host, though. They got up the furthest, but they fell down very quickly. And Discharge, they managed to hold on just a little longer than Lollipop, so they will move on with Derek. Heat 3, Mahi Mahi, Raven, Anchor, and Pixie. Down they come, Raven and Pixie. Pixie falls down very quickly, and I think that was Raven and Mahi Mahi who managed to stay up the longest. Anchor and Pixie, they both seem to get up quite far. You look at that Pixie getting almost as high as Raven, but they fell down very fast. So Raven and Mahi Mahi will be the ones moving on there. And the final heat, Ruby, Mantis, Black Rose, and White Flame. Down they come, Black Rose and Ruby, they get high up. Can Ruby hold on with Mantis? I'm not sure there. That was very close between Ruby and Mantis. White Flame, they will not be moving on. Black Rose will be moving on. Let's take a look between Ruby and Mantis. Did Ruby manage to hold on? No, they didn't. By 2 milliseconds, Mantis has managed to hold off Ruby and moves on with Black Rose. My, that is disappointing for Ruby. Lollipop manages to take 9th place there. You know, it's Nebula down there in last place again. Not good for that marble. First semi-final here, Andromeda, Raven, Discharge, and Mantis. Down the ramp they go. Discharge and Mantis get the highest. Can they hold that? Yes, they can. Very impressive there from those 2 marbles. A textbook example of what you want in uphill battle. Getting up high and using those little holes there to slow yourself down. That is the name of the game here. Discharge and Mantis both doing that very well, and they will move on. But who will be moving on to the final with them? Black Rose, Derek, Mahi Mahi, and Blue Bottle. Down they come. Mahi Mahi, they get very, very high, and Blue Bottle, they manage to get behind the Black Rose, and that's what's going to allow them to move on with Mahi Mahi. Very impressive job there by Blue Bottle. They looked to see their falling down quickly, but they managed to get Black Rose in front of them as a block, and they will move on with Mahi Mahi. 5th through 8th here, Raven managed to do the best of the rest there with Black Rose in 6th, Andromeda in 7th, and Derek in 8th. Moving on to the final though, Discharge, Mantis, Blue Bottle, and Mahi Mahi. Down they come in the final. Mantis, they get very, very high, and they're going to easily hold on and win gold in uphill battle. My goodness, that was incredible from Mantis. They nearly fell off the ramp, that was so high. There was absolutely nothing challenging them there. Blue Bottle tried to hold on, but it was not even close. Mantis, a crushing victory to win gold in uphill battle. Not a bad effort for me that Blue Bottle discharged. They will get medals, but it is Mantis who very deservingly wins gold. A brilliant victory there by Mantis puts them up into first place currently, with Blue Bottle and Andromeda just behind them. Meanwhile, unfortunately, down there in last place, it is Nebula. They have finished last in the first two events and so are on 0 points currently. Next event, event 3, we will see Funnel Endurance. So I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. Today we have event 3, Funnel Endurance. We saw this in the qualifiers, but this time the course looks a little different. 8 marbles at a time will roll down this funnel course and try to stay in as long as they can. We have multiple different sections here with some regular funnels, those small orange funnels, back to regular funnels, and then finally the paper funnel at the end, which has been shown to be quite chaotic in the qualifiers when we saw it there. The top 4 marbles from each heat will move on to the final, and looking at the current standings, it is Mantis in the lead just ahead of Blue Bottle. So here we have the example run. This will be sped up quite a bit. We have Chivalry and the Corporation. As you can see, 4 times speed here rolling around those first funnels. These orange funnels, they get quite interesting. They are quite a bit quicker than the rest. The regular funnels there again, and then finally the paper funnel. Just waiting for the marbles to end. I believe Core will be taking that win there. They're the example run results. And here we move to the first heat. We have Andromeda, Raven, Nebula, Mantis, Ruby, Anchor, Derek, and Discharge. Down they come for the first heat of Funnel Endurance. Rolling around that first funnel. Looks like Andromeda is going to be in first, followed by Nebula, then Anchor. And Mantis has dropped in as well. There goes Raven, Discharge, Ruby, and that means that Derek takes the early lead. They did quite well in Funnel Endurance to the qualifiers. As we move on to the orange funnels, these ones, marbles, there's a lot of contact in these, and it can be quite easy to fall through very quickly, as we see there from Anchor and Andromeda, who are both, and Mantis as well, who are both now ready in the next section of regular funnels. Ruby and Derek, they are doing quite well. Ruby now takes the lead from Derek, and they have a pretty strong lead here. As Anchor and Mantis, they're already falling into that last regular funnel. Who's going to be first in the paper funnel? It is Andromeda, but everything is decided in that paper funnel there. You can change a lot with the trajectory of those marbles. You can see it's quite odd compared to the other funnels. A lot of sweeping motions. And Anchor, they've fallen in already. They're out. Who will be next? Looks like it's going to be Raven, then Mantis. One more left. Discharge falls in. Andromeda, they managed to hold on. Nebula drops in. They drop in right after. And so it will be Andromeda, Nebula, Ruby, and Derek who managed to move on. Ruby drops in there, and Derek, they will be the last one to drop in. An impressive run from them, meeting all the expectations from them that they set in the qualifiers. Looking at this replay, Raven dropped in there, then it was Mantis, but Discharge tried to knock in Andromeda, missed, and then got blocked. And so Andromeda managed to survive. There are your results. Derek, of course, taking the win. Second heat. The rest of the marbles here: Pixie, White Flame, Black Rose, Blue Bottle, Lapis, Lollipop, Knight, and Mahi Mahi. Knight, the host, is in this one, along with 3 former champions in Black Rose, Lapis, and Pixie. White Flames dropped in first, followed by Pixie, then Blue Bottle. Knight, the host, has dropped in. There's Lapis, Lollipop, Black Rose, and Mahi Mahi takes the lead. And Marble has been doing quite well so far, despite never being in a main tournament before. Marbles moving on to the orange funnels. Black Rose, they fall in quite quickly. Knight's managing to hold there in that top orange funnel. They're doing quite well here. Maybe they can take the lead from Mahi Mahi. No, they can't. They drop in there. And they and Mahi the only 2 left in those orange funnels. White Flame, meanwhile, they've dropped further down. So has Black Rose. So has Pixie and Lapis. White Flame, they've now dropped into their first paper funnel. So Pixie follows suit. So does Lapis. Mahi Mahi, they've been holding the lead though. There goes Blue Bottle as well, and Black Rose. Knight drops into the paper funnel, then Mahi does mean Lollipop has managed to take the lead as White Flame is out. So is Black Rose. Who else will survive? It won't be Lapis. One more Blue Bottle's gone. And that means the top 4 has been decided. Knight there drops in, Mahi drops in between Lollipop and Pixie. It's going to be Lollipop manages to take the win over Pixie just barely. But there is your top 4. Lollipop, Pixie, Mahi and Knight will manage to move on. Again, the paper funnel is showing to be very, very chaotic. Black Rose, they got hit by 1-2 there from Mahi and Pixie. Lapis then dropped in, I believe. Right there, yeah, knocked by Pixie. And then Blue Bottle, just a slight glance to get from Lollipop, and they were gone. And those are your results. From 9th through to 16th, Discharge managed to do the best. They managed to take the 9th place. Anchor down there in last, not where you want to be, especially for a former champion. But here is the final. We have Pixie, Mahi, Lollipop, Knight, Ruby, Nebula, Andromeda, and Derek. Off they go into the finals for the final time in this event. Rolling around Nebula, they look closest to the middle, and they will drop in first, followed by Andromeda. Then Mahi, Lollipop, Derek, Ruby, Pixie, and Knight. Knight, the host, takes the lead. And Marvel's already dropping into the orange finals. Andromeda, they've dropped in quite quickly. So has Lollipop and Nebula. Mahi, they drop in there as well. Pixie trying to fight with Knight for the lead here. Pixie takes it. We move to the orange funnels again. Everyone's in there. Pixie still managing to hold that lead. Marvel's already dropping into the next section. As Pixie loses the lead, Knight takes it. And that's a pretty strong lead as well, as Pixie quickly falls through the next orange funnel. Knight there doing very well and have quite a sizable lead now. Marvel's now falling into that last paper funnel. Lollipop and Andromeda are there, so is Nebula. There goes Derek and Pixie. Mahi, they've made quite a nice comeback. Ruby trying to hold in that final regular funnel as Knight enters it. Ruby falls in, and Andromeda is already out. So is Lollipop. There goes Pixie. Only 5 are left, and now Knight has dropped into the final paper funnel. Who will win final endurance? Derek is gone. Nebula's gone. Ruby's gone. It's a final between Knight and Mahi. Who is going to take it in the final? This is very, very close, but Mahi, they cannot hold on. And listen to the roar of the crowd as Knight, the host, drops in to win gold in final endurance. A very impressive run from them there. Look at them taking the lead from Pixie here, blocking their movement, forcing them to drop in the next orange funnel. And then their final here with Mahi just outplaying them in the final. And Knight wins gold in final endurance. A very impressive performance here from the host. 86.891 was their time. That is the best time we've seen in this event. Mahi, they will manage to take the silver, and Ruby gets the bronze. This event has shaken up the standings quite a lot. Mahi, they have now moved into the lead, but they are only a couple points ahead of Andromeda and Blue Bottle, along with Mandis and Knight also right behind them. Still not much we can tell from the first 3 events about this season, and so moving on, it will be quite interesting to see how the season develops. Next time we will return to final endurance in the B division, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marvel Championship. Today we have event 4 of the A Division, a new event, spear throwing. In this event, 1 marble at a time, they'll roll down that ramp there and collide with that spear, trying to hit it as far as they can down the front stretch there. It's a fairly simple event. The marble that throws the spear the furthest will take the win. Looking at the current standings here, Mahi is at the top of the standings, but is quite close behind them with Andromeda, Blue Bottle, and Mantis very close behind. So we'll take a look at how this shakes out. First up, the example run. Chivalry here to give us the example throw. Doesn't look like the best throw, but can't really blame them for that. They are a statesman, not an athlete. Going to be a 14.3 centimeter score there. It is where that spear touches the ground that the score is counted from. Here we go. First up, White Flame. Marble currently in last place, but that looks like an excellent throw, actually. Very nicely done there from White Flame. But this is the event they are more suited to than the past ones. How is that going to fly? A 20.7. My goodness, that is an excellent throw, passing the 20 centimeter mark very early on. Next up, it's Nebula, another marble with a rough start to the season. That looked like a pretty alright throw too. Let's take a look at it. Didn't seem to get past that 20 centimeter mark, those orange sticks being the 10 and 20 centimeter mark respectively. Yes, that's where it hit the ground. That's going to be a 18.4, so still a pretty decent score. We'll see how it shakes up later on. Next up, Lapis, former champion here. What can they do in this event? Also looked to be an alright throw. Don't think that was as good as Nebula's. Let's take another look at it. That had a bit of a bounce there. But yes, that will be a 17.6 for Lapis. So not getting to that 18 centimeter mark that Nebula got past, and nowhere near White Flame. Pixie is up next, another former champion. What can they do? That did not look very good from Pixie. Really, it's kind of hard to tell with how quickly that spear falls, but it lands, but that one seemed to fall quite quickly. Yes, that's only going to be 16.2 for Pixie. They are down there in current fourth of the four marbles who have gone. Next up, Raven. Down they come, and that looks like a pretty alright throw. Didn't very keep going after a bounce like some of the others did, but still looked to be alright. That's going to be 18.3, 1.1 of a centimeter behind Nebula, going to slot them in at third place. Black Rose is up next. How will they do? That didn't look to be incredible. Also seemed to stop quite early after landing. I suppose that's good for me as the commentator. Where will that land? 18.1 slots them in at fourth place, just behind Raven. Next up, it is Discharge. This marble does have a bronze medal. Down they come. Didn't look to be the best throw. Didn't look to be completely terrible, but not very good. What will it shake out to? It looks like they tried to spin it a bit. Didn't seem to work. Only 16.7 for Discharge. And the eighth marble up, rounding out the first half of attempts, it is Anchor. Down they come. It didn't look like an incredible throw, really. Not really sure what else to say here. Let's take a look at it. And that bounced quite early. Only 16.1 for Anchor. That's going to be 8th out of 8 and put them currently in last place after the first half of goes. White Flame still at the top very, very comfortably, a full 2.3 centimeters above Nebula in second. But we'll see if they can hold it after the next round of athletes. Here we are with Ruby, starting off the second half. Down they come. Did not look to be incredible, but looked ultimately all right for Ruby. What will it shake out to as they hit the spear? 18.0. That's putting them at 5th place, right behind Black Rose. Next up, it is Lollipop. And this one will make a dent in the standings. It looked like it. That looked like a pretty good throw from Lollipop, all things considered. Taking another look at it. That's very nice. Going to be an 18.6 for Lollipop. That puts them at 2nd place ahead of Nebula. Next up, it's Derek. Down this marble comes. That didn't look to be amazing. Did go quite far after bouncing, but the bounce is all that matters where that thing lands, and that seemed to land pretty early. Yeah, did not get any higher than that. 15.5. That puts them currently last place, 11th out of 11. Our host, Knight, is up next. Got gold in the last event. What can they do in this one? And that looked very, very impressive from Knight. Have they managed to beat White Flame here? I'm not 100% sure. Let's take another look at it. They've passed the 20 centimeter mark, but it's only 20.4. Second placed, White Flame holds the lead. Mantis. What can they do here? Down they come, and that didn't seem to be as impressive as Knight. Although the marble did see quite a high standard. Let's take a look and see what it shakes out to. Yeah, that did not go that far. Only 16.9 for Mantis. Next up, Blue Bottle. 3 marbles left to go, and this is the third last one. That looked alright from Blue Bottle. Seemed to go quite far. Didn't go quite far after the bounce, but let's take another look at it. Got it pretty flat, and that's going to be 3rd place currently. 19.2, just behind Knight. Will that hold for a medal, though, as we look at Andromeda? Down they come, and that also looked quite far. Was it enough for a medal, though? Was it even enough to be white flame, maybe? Down they come again. Let's take a look at it. Doesn't pass the 20 centimeter, and it's just 1/10 of a centimeter behind Blue Bottle. 4th place for Andromeda. And finally, last up, current 1st place, Mahi Mahi. Can they maybe beat White Flame? I don't think so. That spear seemed to bounce quite a bit. But I think that shot from Mahi Mahi will not be even close to enough. No, only 17.7 for them. Meaning that White Flame has managed to win spear throwing. Now first runner, and they hold it all the way to the end. Knight, they managed to get the silver, and Blue Bottle with the bronze. We are now a quarter of the way through this tournament, and Blue Bottle is at the top of the standings. They're only 1 point ahead of Knight, who is only 1 point ahead of Andromeda. White Flame, they've also jumped up 7 spots with that gold medal there, so very impressive from them. We're starting to truly get into this tournament, and next event we will see Drag Bounce. So I will see you then. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. Today we have Event 5, Drag Bounce. We've seen this before, but it is slightly modified. In this event, 4 marbles at a time will roll into that funnel and drop down one by one onto that white board there, and then they'll bounce along the carpet, trying to go as far as they can down that carpet. And the marbles that do bounce the furthest will be the ones moving on. Looking at the current standings, Blue Bottle has taken the lead, but they're only just ahead of Knight. So let's see how this event turns out. Chivalry and the Corporation marbles here to show us the example run, rolling around that funnel. Funnel doesn't really matter that much, but it could help if you get down first. There you see Chivalry, Core, Disciples T. They got blocked by Chivalry there, and then finally Core once more. You can see it is Core of the Corporation getting the best distance there with a 74.1. That's the standard set. Let's see how these more competitive marbles do. First up, Raven, Knight, Ruby, and Anchor. Down they come around the funnel. Who will drop down first? It is going to be Knight. That's pretty solid. Raven follows after. Not as good. Anchor, they do well. Can Ruby maybe pass anyone? I don't think so. All came down quite quickly after that time in the funnel, but Knight, that was an excellent start, getting out very far. Raven's follow-up was not nearly as good. Anchor, they went to the side, but still managed to do quite well, even after hitting the tape measure there. Ruby, they just did not have enough. And I believe, yes, it is Knight and Anchor moving on. Knight, that is a very solid start, 85.0 centimeters. That's very strong from them. Heat 2 here, Andromeda, Lapis, Mantis, and White Flame. Down they come around the funnel. Where will they drop in first? There goes White Flame, pretty solid. Who will follow? It's Mantis, manages to get past. Maybe Lapis got past there. Can Andromeda do anything? I don't think so. Mantis definitely got the win. Not sure who won between White Flame and Lapis. I do think it was White Flame though. They had a very nice start. Took a while for anyone else to drop, but Mantis, very nicely done there. Almost bumped into White Flame, managed to just get past. Lapis, I don't think that was good enough to beat White Flame and Andromeda. They really just not do well. And yes, Mantis and White Flame will be moving on. Mantis, 77.4 centimeters is the winning score. Heat 3, Pixie, Blue Bottle, Derek, and Black Rose. Down they come into the funnel. Rolling around, where will each of them drop? Blue Bottle, they get in first, not bad. Derek, they get blocked by Blue Bottle. Even Black Rose doesn't look to be very good against Pixie. And they pass everyone and will take the win, but Blue Bottle manages to move on along with them. Unfortunate what happened to Derek here. They looked like they were having a good shot, but went straight into Blue Bottle's path and were blocked. That's why it might be useful to get out early in the funnel, so you might be able to block one of your opponents. But it is Pixie there who does the best with their 88.3, best one we've seen so far, moving on with Blue Bottle. And final heat, Lollipop, Discharge, Mahi Mahi, and Nebula. Lollipop was the winner of this event. in Season 6. Let's see how they and the rest of the marbles do here. Rolling around the funnel. Who will be first down? It is Lollipop. Doesn't look too strong. There goes Discharge. That's massive. Mahi comes down. They knock Lollipop a bit further, but Nebula streaks past both of them. And that is brilliant from both Discharge and Nebula. My goodness, that was quite an amazing heat to watch. Lollipop didn't do that well. Discharge charged past them. Mai came in and got blocked by Lollipop. But there's Nebula with that final run. Absolutely amazing. They don't get past Discharge with that marble's 97.8. But those two will be comfortably moving on. Looking at standings from 9th to 16th, it is Derek, their only marble in the bottom 8 to pass 80 centimeters. And it's Ruby, Lollipop, Lapis, Andromeda, Black Rose, Mai, and Raven down there in last. Semi-finals. First up, Nebula, Anchor, Mantis, and Pixie. Down they come, rolling around in this funnel. Who will drop down first? It is Pixie. Doesn't look amazing. There goes Mantis. They get blocked by Pixie. Anchor doesn't do too well either. That seals Pixie in, and Nebula is going to manage to pass all of them. Nebula and Pixie are going to be the ones winning there. Pixie didn't even seem to do very well, but when Mantis came down, they got stuck behind them, hit them forward. Anchor's shot was not very good, and then it was just Nebula left. They really took their time here. Seemed to want to line up their shot to not accidentally bump into anyone. They did collide with Anchor there, but it is going to be enough to beat Mantis and Anchor. Nebula and Pixie will be moving on. And the second semi-final. Blue Bottle, White Flame, Discharge, and the host, Knight. Down they come, rolling around the funnel. Who will be the one to drop in first? Seem to have some strong contenders in here. There goes White Flame. That is very, very impressive from them. Excellently done. There goes Discharge. That's even better. There goes Knight and Blue Bottle. Neither of them are going to get even close to that brilliancy by both Discharge and White Flame. White Flame came down first, did very, very solidly, but then it was Discharge here who completely showed them and everyone else up with that amazing bounce. I can't even believe that Marble managed to bounce that far. Knight and Blue Bottle really had no chance. 112.6 centimeters from Discharge. An excellent job. 5th through 8th, it is Blue Bottle who does manage to take the 5th place spot just over Mantis, Anchor, and then Knight there in 8th place. But we seem to have a treat here for the final. White Flame, Pixie, Discharge, and Nebula. All these marbles have shown that they can pull off high scores. But who will take the win here? Rolling around the funnel. Looks like it might be Pixie to drop in first. There they go. That looks fairly solid. There goes White Flame. They bump off Pixie. Nebula, they just managed to get past. Can Discharge take the win here? I think so. That was a close final, but I do believe it was Discharge's last bounce that managed to take the win. Pixie, they weren't that strong. White Flame looked to try to get past, but collided with them. Not even sure who got between them. Nebula just managed to pass both of them, but it didn't look like it was going to hold. And here came Discharge, our star of the semi-final, and they do manage to pass everyone. Discharge wins gold in drag bounce. A fairly unexciting finish for them compared to what they did in the first 2 runs, but a solid finish overall, getting that gold, with Nebula getting the silver and Pixie the bronze. After drag bounce, Blue Bottle has managed to hold their lead, but it is still shaky with Knight just behind, Andromeda there in 3rd. Meanwhile, Discharge and Nebula, they both managed to rise 5 and 6 spots respectively with those medals. Pixie now out of last place. The next event will be another new one, Off-Road Sprint. So I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. Today we have Event 6, another new one here, Off-Road Sprint. It's similar to what we've seen from sprint events in the past, except there is no paper covering the holes of the track pieces, meaning those marbles are going to have difficulty rolling down as they will have to try and avoid those holes, those divots within the track, which will slow them down and can be very tricky to traverse. Currently at the top of the standings, it is Blue Bottle still, but they are not far ahead of Ninth there in second. So we will see how this event goes. First up in the example run, Chivalry and the Corporation. Down they come. Looks like it's Core out to the lead there. Chivalry, they just seem to get stuck. And Core and Disciples T will follow behind. Chivalry, they did not even finish. But here we go to the athletes. First up, Mantis, Discharge, Anchor and Pixie. Down they come. Seems like it's Anchor to the lead with Pixie behind. Can Discharge or Mantis catch up? Discharge made a charge for it, but it was not enough. You can see how this event kind of works here. Those marbles, they get slowed down very quickly. So with Discharge and Mantis. Pixie here at the end as well as Anchor crossed the line. Pixie slowed down a lot. Discharge didn't have the time to make it up. Anchor and Pixie comfortably move on. Next up, Blue Bottle, Ruby, Nebula, and Lapis. Down they come. Nebula out to the lead. There comes Ruby challenging him. Lapis as well, but I don't think they were able to pass Ruby. That was quite a close race there by the end. Blue Bottle, they were not in it at all. Nebula, they got out to a nice lead. Ruby was having some trouble. They managed to get away from Lapis, then got blocked by Nebula. Lapis made a charge for it, but no, it's not enough. And Ruby will be moving on with Nebula to the semi-finals. Heat 3, Derek, Knight, Lollipop, and White Flame. Down they come. Derek, they shoot out to the lead. They're very far ahead there. And there's Lollipop overtaking Knight. And Derek and Lollipop will move on. Derek, they went straight out for that lead there. Knight seemed to have second place. They went Derek. That was just an excellent run from them. Took a few bounces, but they seemed all right. Then Lollipop must have overtaken Knight just before they came on screen. And they will manage to move on to the semi-finals along with Derek. And the final heat, Raven, Black Rose, Mahi Mahi, and Andromeda. Down they come. Mahi Mahi did very well at the start. There goes Andromeda. They're leading now. There goes Black Rose and Raven, both managing to overtake. My goodness, that was an intense ending. Mahi Mahi, they had a pretty good start, but fell back quickly. Andromeda took the lead there with some very good speed, but slowed down a lot. Coming into the final section, Black Rose and Raven, they both pounce and managed to pass Andromeda. Black Rose and Raven move on. Standings from 9th down to 16th. Lapis, they managed to take the 9th place spot, followed by Andromeda, Blue Bottle, Discharge, Knight, Mantis, Mahi Mahi, and then White Flame down there in last place. Semi-finals, Derek, Anchor, Raven, and Ruby. Down they come. Raven out to the lead. Ruby behind. There goes Ruby challenging. Not going to get past, but it doesn't really matter, as Anchor and Derek were not even close to either of them. Those top two marbles did very well out of the gate. Anchor and Derek, especially Derek, had a lot of trouble. Anchor also fell behind Ruby. Ruby seemed to be trying to challenge for first place, but maybe decided to save their energy for the final. They will move on with Raven to that final. And the second heat, Black Rose, Pixie, Lollipop, and Nebula. Down they come. Nebula, they get out to a massive lead. Black Rose is fighting with Pixie there. Will they hold it? Yes, they will. They were fighting up with Pixie earlier, but must have managed to get away. Nebula, they had an excellent start here. You can see Black Rose fighting with Pixie and Lollipop there. But Nebula, that was excellent from them, running with that all the way to the end. And then the other three, they were a lot slower, but Black Rose was the best of them. They will manage to move on to the final with Nebula. Very impressive there from them. Standings 5th through 8th. Anchor, they managed to take the 5th place spots, followed by Derek, Lollipop, then Pixie down there in 8th place. But moving on to the final, Ruby, Black Rose, Raven, and Nebula. Down they come. Looks like it's Nebula and Black Rose. Black Rose takes it, but then as Ruby charges past. And Ruby is going to be your gold medalist for off-road sprint. That was quite the intense final. Nebula had the early lead. They fell behind. Black Rose took it, but here's the charge from Ruby. They pass everyone effortlessly and do manage to take the gold medal there over Black Rose. A very nice performance there from Ruby throughout this event. A well-deserved gold medal for them. Black Rose, they will take a nice silver medal, while Raven gets the bronze. That does it for off-road sprint. Quite the interesting event we saw here. From their gold medal, Ruby has managed to jump 6 spots, but the top 3 remains unchanged, with Blue Bottle leading Knight and Andromeda. Black Rose, they also managed to jump 4. Meanwhile, White Flame, they fall 5 spots. Next event, we will be returning to off-road sprint in the B division, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. Today we have event 7 of the A division. It is Bounce Back. We've seen this event many times before, but just as a rerun of the rules, 4 marbles at a time, they will roll down the ramp and hit the back board there and have to try and stay as close to the back as they can. Each divot there is 1 point, and each little track piece there separated by those lines, that is 9, so the max you can get is 36. All the marbles, they will have 4 goes at it, so we have to see how they do. Blue Bottle currently sits at the top of the standings, 6 points above Knight in second, so we'll see how those shake up after this event. Looking at the example run, Corporation and Chivalry, they'll have their time down. Disciples T, they do the best there with that 33. But let's move on to our actual competitors. Here we go with Ruby, Lollipop, Discharge, and Raven up first. Down they come for the first bounce. Lollipop falls far back. Discharge and Ruby both doing solidly with a 28 and 27 each. Next up, their second bounce. Raven, they do very nicely there with a 33. Discharge not doing so well there, only a 19. Down these 4 marbles come again. They all fall back quite far. Ruby does manage to do the best with a 23. And their final roll down. How will they do? Raven does the best out of them with Lollipop there just behind. Raven getting a 29. However, it is Ruby who does the best out of them. 104 to Raven's 103. Lollipop and Discharge much further behind him. 87 and 85 for Lollipop. Discharge getting 87. Heat 2, White Flame, Blue Bottle, Mahi Mahi, and Mantis. First roll down. Mahi Mahi and Mantis, they both do very well. 33 and 32 respectively. White Flame, Blue Bottle, 19 and 20. Second roll down they come. White Flame, they seem to do quite solidly there with that 29. Blue Bottle's doing decently with the 26. Third roll. Down they come. Blue Bottle does very nicely there. Pulls off a 31. White Flame also solid with that 29. And down for the final roll. How will they do? White Flame, that is very nicely done. A 33 for them. Blue Bottle also a solid 28. Mahi Mahi also getting a 28. And White Flame, that 110-point score puts them ahead. First place above Blue Bottle in second there with that 105, just beating Ruby's previous 104. Heat 3, we are halfway done. Nebula, Derek, Pixie, and Andromeda, down they come. All of them do quite solidly. Pixie and Derek both picking up 28s, while Nebula gets a 27, Andromeda a 25 to start. Roll 2, down they come. Looks to be fairly good from Pixie at another 28. Nebula pulling off a 26 as a solid second score. Andromeda and Derek, they both don't do that well that time. Third roll, Nebula, that's a very nice 31. Derek also a solid 28. Pixie and Andromeda especially with that 11, not doing well. And final roll, Nebula manages to pull off another 28. That puts them at 112, which puts them just above White Flame for the lead. Meanwhile, Andromeda on the opposite end of the spectrum, that 81, that puts them currently in last place. But now, the final heat, we have Lapis, Black Rose, Anchor, and Knight, the host. Down they come. First bounce there, Black Rose, they managed to pull off a 28. That is better than everyone else there. Lapis a nice 27 though. Roll 2, down they come. Looks to be Knight and Black Rose doing the best again. Black Rose a 27, Knight a second 26 added to their score. Third roll, down they come. Lapis, that is an excellent score there, a 32. Black Rose another 27, Anchor a 25, Knight falling red to a 19. And the final bounce for this heat and the event, down they come. Lapis, they do the best there, a 31. However, they do not do enough to beat Black Rose, who gets the 109 and manages to take the third place spot over Lapis getting fourth. However, it is Nebula who manages to take the gold, with White Flame getting the silver. Certainly a slower paced event today, however no less impactful, as we see Nebula jumping 4 spots up into second place, with Ruby also jumping 1 into third. Black Rose, they jump 3 to get into 5th, meanwhile White Flame Silver bumps up 6 spots into 8th place. This event certainly has shaken up the standings a lot, so you will see how that continues in the next event, Bathtub Endurance. See you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. We are at the halfway point here with Event 8, Bathtub Endurance. We've seen this event in the last 2 seasons, but as a quick recap of how it works, 4 marbles at a time will roll down into the bathtub there and try to stay rolling around as long as they can. Once they fall into that drain, they will be out. The first 2 marbles to do so will not move on, while the 2 who take the longest to fall in will move on to the semi-finals and the final. Looking at the current standings, it is Blue Bottle still holding the lead, but Nebula has made their way up into second, so it'll be interesting to see how the standings look after this event. Here's the example run with Chivalry and the Corporation rolling around the bathtub. It can be quite difficult to stay out of that drain as we see Disciples T fall in there. Then it will be Chivalry, Core, and Core does take the win there in the example run. 15.5 seconds, actually a very solid time there from them. But for the athletes, first up we have Anchor, Knight, Andromeda, and Derek. Down they come, rolling around the bathtub. Bit of contact there. Anchor, they barely managed to survive the drain. So does Knight. But Andromeda and Derek, they cannot survive. They fall in and are eliminated. Anchor looks to be showing off a bit there, rolling around the drain, but they will survive along with Knight. Looking at the replay here, Anchor, they did barely manage to survive. Knight fell in but managed to get back out. Andromeda and Derek, unfortunate for them, they did not manage to stay. Anchor gets a pretty nice time there. Next up, Nebula, Lapis, Black Rose, and Discharge. Down they come, rolling into the bathtub. Pretty strong heat here, but Nebula's fallen in, and Discharge, they've fallen in as well. Not good from Nebula or Discharge. Lapis and Black Rose will move on fairly easily in that performance. What happened to Nebula? Just got a very bad line straight down. That's not what you want to have. You want to be rolling around the walls. They did not manage to survive. Discharge also had a bad line there and was eliminated along with Nebula. Black Rose and Lapis move on. Heat 3, Lollipop, Blue Bottle, Mantis, and Raven. Down they come into the bathtub, rolling around. Contact there between Lollipop and Blue Bottle. Then big contact with Raven and Blue Bottle. Mantis drops in and Blue Bottle will not manage to survive. Raven, very nicely done there to ruin Blue Bottle's speed. We'll have to take another look at that. Here's where they come down. Massive contact between them. Mantis just had a bad line there, and Blue Bottle did not survive longer. Very nicely done there by Raven and Lollipop to move on. And final heat, Ruby, Mahi Mahi, Pixie, and White Flame. Down they come into the bathtub, rolling around, bunching up there. Ruby, they drop in, and so does White Flame. Again, another quick heat, and it's already over. Mahi Mahi and Pixie, they will move on easily. Once again, it seemed like Ruby and White Flame, they bunched up. Well, White Flame did. Ruby just had a very bad line here. And White Flame was kind of hounded by Mahi Mahi. Didn't get the right line and was eliminated. Pixie, Mahi Mahi move on. And there is 9th through 16th. Blue Bottle does manage to take the 9th place spot, followed by Derek, Discharge, Mantis, Andromeda, White Flame, Nebula, and Ruby down there in last with not even a 5-second time. They did not do well. First semi-final, Raven, Mahi Mahi, Anchor, and Lapis. Down they come into the bathtub. Raven, they get eliminated quickly, and so does Anchor. Contact between Lapis and Mahi Mahi will not matter. those two will move on to the final very comfortably. Not sure what happened with Raven and Anchor. Take another look at it. Raven seemed to get very high up at the start. Not what they wanted, and Anchor just seemed to get another bad line. Missed that rim of the drain they might have been aiming for, and it was eliminated. Second semi-final, Pixie, Knight, Black Rose and Lollipop. Another very strong heat here in the semi-finals. Rolling around the bathtub, a lot of different lines being taken. Pixie knocks Knight in, but Lollipop then knocks Pixie in. That was a very quick elimination, but unlike the others, it was not due to mistakes. This seemed like forced errors. Let's take a look at that. Pixie, very nice move to knock Knight in, but that was Lollipop. Hit Pixie up the wall and right into the drain just before they fell in themselves. Very nicely done there from Lollipop, and Black Rose will move on as well. Standings 5th through 8th. It is Pixie getting the 5th place spot, followed by Anchor, Knight, and then Raven down there in last. But looking to the final, we have Mahi Mahi, Lapis, Black Rose, and Lollipop. Down they come. Who will win gold in bathtub endurance? Rolling around the bathtub. Different lines being taken here. Everyone survives. Mahi Mahi, they take a batter off the drain though, and they look to be eliminated first. There goes Lollipop, and Lapis goes as well. Meaning, just like that, Black Rose has one gold in bathtub endurance once again, just as they did in Season 5. Mahi Mahi, they had the worst start. Lollipop a bad line, Lapis a bad line, and that means Black Rose, although they didn't survive for long, wins gold in bathtub endurance. Very impressive times all around the board there to take times all above 10 seconds. Lapis there with the silver, and Lollipop, of course, getting bronze. With their gold medal, Black Rose, they have risen into second, just 1 point behind the leader, Blue Bottle, with Knight there behind as well. Meanwhile, as for the rest of the standings, there are only 13 points between 5th and 16th, so it is a very close table as of right now. But next time we will be going to the B division to see how they compete in bathtub endurance, so I will see you then. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. We have finally returned for the second half of this tournament, starting us with event 9, downhill push. We saw this in the qualifiers, if you remember the rules from there. Marbles will roll down and try to hit that block to the end as quick as they can, rolling down that ramp. Try to get the end as quick as they can. Marbles that do better than the one that they are against will move on to the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the final. Looking at the standings, Blue Bottle just 1 point ahead of Black Rose, with Knight and Nebula behind. We'll see how that shakes out after this event. We have the example run here with Core and Chivalry. Blocks have been switched over just to make it a bit easier for those non-athletes. But here we go with said athletes. First up, we do have Lapis and Lollipop. Down they come. Lapis out to a good lead. Lollipop has trouble and will not be able to make it up on Lapis. That Blue Marble doing very well in that top lane. Lollipop, meanwhile, didn't have the block straight. That's important to do. They hit the side, didn't have any speed. Lapis took a comfortable victory. Next up, it is Ruby and Discharge. Down they come. Discharge out to a better lead. Can Ruby maybe catch up? No, they can't. Discharge does manage to take that win, not incredibly comfortably. They got it to a good start over Ruby. Seemed to have some starting trouble and wasn't able to make it up on Discharge. And so Discharge does take the win, moving on to the quarterfinals. Third heat, Mantis and Andromeda. Down they come. Seem to be fairly even, but Mantis has trouble, and Andromeda takes that opportunity and runs away with the heat. Fairly close to start. Mantis even might have a bit of a lead, but then block unstraightened, and Andromeda took the win from Mantis' mistake. Heat 4, Knight, our host, and Raven. Down they come, Knight out. Good lead, and that just continues to stretch. We saw that Marble do excellently in this event in the friendly, and they prove why they did that here. Raven, unable to get up to any speed, loses out to Knight, and the host takes an easy victory to move on. Heat 5, Derek and Nebula. Down they come, Nebula, good lead. Derek having a lot of trouble. That's not even going to be close. And Nebula takes a commanding victory there. Very nicely done there from that red marble. Got out to a good lead. Derek just having a lot of trouble there. Not good from them. 3.494 from Derek. That is the worst time we've seen so far. And heat 6, we have Anka and Mahi Mahi. Down they come. Looks to be pretty close. Anka with a bit of a lead at the start. And I'm not sure if that held. Mahi Mahi did manage to make it back. Anka with a good start. Mahi Mahi did catch up a bit. Did they manage to pass? No, they don't. Anka holds on and moves on to the quarterfinals. Heat 7, Blue Bottle, current leader here, and Pixie. Down they come. Looks to be pretty close. Pixie had a pretty good start, but Blue Bottle gets a lot of speed down there right at the second half of that run. Despite Pixie's good start, they couldn't hold it, and Blue Bottle shot away from them to take the win in this heat. And we move on to the final heat, Black Rose and White Flame. Down they come, White Flame, excellent start, and they're going to keep pushing. Black Rose not even close to them. White Flame, a very, very comfortable victory here. Excellent showing there from that marble, who has had some difficulty in this tournament so far. They will move on nicely. Looking at the standings for the bottom half, it is Mahi Mahi who manages to take 9th place with that 2.429, followed by Pixie, Raven, Ruby, Mantis, Black Rose, Lollipop, and Derek, who we saw with that 3.494 second time down there in the last. Starting us off for the quarterfinals, it's Andromeda and Blue Bottle. Down they come. Blue Bottle out to a good lead, but Andromeda coming from behind overtakes Blue Bottle and snatches the win from them. Very nicely done for Andromeda. Blue Bottle didn't even seem to make many mistakes there. They had a good start, but Andromeda just picked up speed and overtook them. Nicely done from Andromeda there. Next up, it is Discharge and Knight. Down they come, and that's Knight once again. Very nicely done there to defeat Discharge here. Discharge, I don't even think did that badly, but Knight, it was a good start from them, and it just kept growing. Excellently done there from Knight to take the win there over Discharge. And quarterfinal 3, we have White Flame and Anka. Down they come. White Flame gets out to a lead by the second half, and they do manage to hold it to the end. It was pretty close to start with between these Season 1 rivals. But then by the second half, Anka had a bit of trouble there. White Flame got away, and that was it for that round. And in the last semi-final, it is Nebula and Lapis. Down they come, pretty close to start with, but Nebula gets away. They have a bit of trouble there at the end. Their block pushing forward, but they managed to hold it either way. And they will be taking the last spot in the semi-finals. You saw that there. They slowed down a bit, but they had built up enough of a lead and took the win over Lapis. 5th through 8th standings there. All these marbles getting much better times than the marbles below them from 9th to 16th. Lapis, Anka, Blue Bottle, and Discharge is that order. First semi-final here. Andromeda versus Knight. Down they come. Knight out to a good lead at the start. They have some trouble, but they hold it. A nice performance there from Knight. Even if they had some trouble, Andromeda just did not seem to be in it. Had a bad start. Block going diagonal. So even if Knight made that mistake there, Andromeda could not pass them, and Knight moves on to the final. Who will face them? Will it be Nebula or White Flame? Down they come. Nebula out to the lead. White Flame trying to catch up, but they have some trouble. And Nebula's lead stretches all the way to the end. Nicely done there from that marble. White Flame did seem to have some trouble there near the middle, which means they will be going to the bronze match while Nebula goes to the final. Here is that bronze match. Andromeda versus White Flame. Down they come. White Flame gets up to a massive lead. Andromeda has trouble, and that means White Flame takes the bronze medal in downhill push. Andromeda seeming to have the same trouble they had against Knight, while White Flame manages to take the lead and the bronze medal with it. But who will take gold? Will it be Nebula or Knight? Down they come. Knight out to the lead. Nebula coming out close to overtake, but it's not going to happen. And that means our host, Knight, takes their second gold medal of this tournament. Very nicely done there. Nebula almost got them at the end, but didn't have the time to overtake. And Knight takes a very well-deserved gold medal. Also having the best time in this event in their first heat with that 2.030 seconds. Nicely done from the host there. Nebula, well-deserved silver, and White Flame, the bronze. Knight has become the first marble in this season to win 2 gold medals, but Blue Bottle's lead still holds by a single point, 94 to 93. You know, you see Andromeda and White Flame jumping up 4 and 5 spots respectively with their good finishes here. And that will conclude us for Downhill Push. Next time I will see you will be event 10, Triathlon. So I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. We are here with Triathlon for this event. We saw this back in season 6, but the track is both similar and different to what it was there. We have the same 3 sections. First up with that covered track section with the paper, which is a bit shorter than what it was in the original iteration, followed by the uncovered track section, which is longer but quicker in this season 7 version. And that moves on with a turn into the final blanketing section with those bumps. Those marbles will be flying quite a bit. They might get quite a bit of airtime on those bumps. The current standings, Blue Bottle still holds the lead, just above Knight by 1 point. We'll see if that holds after this event. With the example run here, Chivalry, Core, and Disciples T, these smaller marbles will likely have more trouble with this track than the regular marbles. Yeah, we see Core there getting stuck up there. Chivalry making up the back. Core does manage to take the win with a nice pass on Disciples T at the end, actually. But here we go. First heat, we have Andromeda, Anchor, Black Rose, and Discharge. Down they come. Rolling down. Pretty clean for that first track section. There's Black Rose, a nice move through that turn. They hit the wall. Can they hold? Yes, they can. But does Discharge hold off Andromeda? I'm not 100% sure if they did. Take another look at it. The uncovered track section was fairly clean, and so was the track section. Black Rose, masterful move around that turn past Discharge. Hit the wall there, didn't seem to matter. Here comes Andromeda bouncing a lot, but they do manage to pass Discharge just barely. Under 0.2 of a second is the gap, but Andromeda moves on with Black Rose. Heat 2, Mahi, Lapis, Derek, and Knight, the host, who takes the lead through the banked turn. There comes Derek and Mahi, both passing Mahi. Nice move around that turn. Can Knight hold? No, they can't. Derek charges past both Mahi and Knight to take the win. Very nicely done there by the green marble. So look at that move by Derek and Mahi, both on Knight. Mahi managed to take the lead. Derek fell behind, but then look at them passing Knight here. Brilliantly done by Derek. They managed to take the whole win. Mahi managed to move on with them. Lapis and Knight not as lucky. Heat 3, Ruby, Nebula, Raven, and Pixie. Down they come. Pixie takes the early lead through the track section. Rolling around. There comes Nebula with a nice charge. So is Ruby challenging. Only Nebula manages to get past. Nebula takes it all the way to the end. Can Pixie hold? Just barely, I think. And Raven, I think, has gotten stuck somewhere. Yeah, they looked pretty bad from the start. Nice move there by Nebula on Pixie, and then they took it to the end. And then Pixie, I think, just held off Ruby here. Yes, they do. Nebula and Pixie will move on. And Raven stuck up there. That is going to be a DNF and almost a surefire last place for that marble. Final heat, Lollipop, Mantis, White Flame, and the leader, Blue Bottle. Blue Bottle takes the lead through the track section, rolling to the uncovered track section. Bursts of speed from White Flame and Mantis. Mantis makes the pass on White Flame and then falls back behind. And it will be Blue Bottle and White Flame moving on to the semi-finals. Not sure what happened to Mantis here at the end. We'll take another look at it. Try to get past, hit the wall, I think, and as well contact with Blue Bottle. Blue Bottle took the win, and White Flame took second place. Those marbles will move on. Mantis and Lollipop are eliminated. And Discharge does manage to take 9th place overall, followed by Knight, Mantis, Lollipop, Anchor, Lapis, Ruby, and Raven, of course. That DNF sticks them in last place overall. First semi-final, White Flame, Derek, Nebula, and Black Rose. Down they come. Black Rose into the lead, followed by Derek. There's Nebula as well, challenging to make it past both of them. Black Rose managed to hold off Derek, and it looks like these two are going to streak to the end. No more trouble for them two. They will hold that quite nicely, Black Rose and Nebula. Taking a look at this move from Nebula, that kind of dive bomb move, got a lot of speed in this uncovered track section they've been very proficient in. And Nebula and Black Rose will hold that to the end. Derek and White Flame will not be going to the final. Second semi-final here, Pixie, Andromeda, Mahi, and Blue Bottle. Down they come. Blue Bottle out to the early lead. There's Mahi challenging behind. There comes Andromeda with a nice pass. Pixie as well, but they fall back behind. Blue Bottle streaking this to the end. Can anyone overtake Andromeda? No, it won't happen. and Andromeda will hold it to move on to the final with Blue Bottle. Nice move from Andromeda on Mahi Mahi here, and then it was just pretty clean all the way to the end. Andromeda and Blue Bottle move on. Blue Bottle, very nice time there with its 7.771. That concludes us for the semi-finals. We see Mahi Mahi, they managed to take the 5th place spot, followed by Pixie. Both of them coming from that second heat with Derek and White Flame there in 7th and 8th. But the final, Blue Bottle, Nebula, Andromeda, and Black Rose. Down they come. Andromeda, they take the early lead. Black Rose and Nebula challenging. Nebula and Black Rose both make contact with Andromeda, but Andromeda holds, and they are going to take it all the way to the end to win gold in triathlon. Very, very nicely done there by Andromeda. They held off multiple challenges from both Black Rose and Nebula. Blue Bottle fell behind, but it is Andromeda who does excellently in this final to win triathlon and take the gold medal home. Very impressive there from that marble. All those times between 8 seconds and 9 seconds. Very nicely done there. Nebula, a good silver medal, and Black Rose with the bronze. With triathlon over, Nebula has gained 2 silver medals in 2 events and is now in the lead, tied on points with Blue Bottle. Black Rose there in 3rd place. Meanwhile, we see Pixie jumping up 6 spots up into 8th. That concludes us for triathlon, and I will see you next time as we go to the B division in this same event. See you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. We are here with Event 11, Hurdles. We've seen this event quite a few times before. This is the next iteration of it, pretty much the same as the last ones. Straight piece of track, 4 miles at a time. They'll roll down those hurdles. We'll have to traverse them quite carefully at a high speed in order to get the quickest times they can. Currently at the top of the standings, it is Nebula tied on points with Blue Bottle. And then there are Black Rose and Knight just behind them, so we'll see how that shakes out after this event. Here is the example run. Chivalry, Core, and Disciples T, of course. There they go. The smaller marbles. Core does take the win there in this event. And first up, in the first heat, it is Discharge, Pixie, Blue Bottle, and the host Knight. Down they come. Pixie out to the lead. They fall back though. There's Blue Bottle and Knight, both getting ahead of the other two. They will move on quite comfortably. Don't know what happened to Pixie. They had a good start, but looks like on that second hurdle they started falling behind. Blue Bottle took a good lead. Nicely done there by them. Knight, second place, will also move on. Second heat, it is Black Rose, Mahi Mahi, Ruby, and Lollipop. Down they come. Ruby out to the lead. Mahi Mahi behind. Lollipop trying to challenge. Black Rose is too far on the left. And Ruby will take a fairly comfortable victory with Mahi Mahi also quite comfortably behind there in second place. Black Rose and Lollipop, they were just behind them. Black Rose on that left side there. Lollipop couldn't get past Mahi Mahi. Ruby and the aforementioned Mahi Mahi will move on. Heat 3, Nebula, Mantis, Lapis, and Anchor. Down they come. Mantis into the lead. Nebula passes. There's Anchor down the side. And they're going to get past both Lapis and Mantis after a bad start and take second place behind Nebula. Mantis moved to the right, but Nebula got past, and there's Anchor. Excellently done down the left side, passing Lapis and Mantis. They move on with Nebula, nicely done by them. Fourth and final heat, White Flame, Andromeda, Derek, and Raven. Down they come. Derek into the lead. There's White Flame. Raven comes back behind. That was very, very close between them and White Flame. Not sure who got that there. Derek was definitely first, Andromeda definitely last. White Flame had the lead. Did Raven overtake? Just barely not. Very, very close between them. But White Flame takes it and moves on with Derek. There's your standings from 9th to 16th. Raven will not get nothing for that. That is the 9th place spot. Then it's Lollipop, Mantis, Lapis, Black Rose, Andromeda, Pixie, and Discharge down there in last place. First semi-final, White Flame, Blue Bottle, Nebula, and Mahi Mahi. Down they go. Blue Bottle and Nebula. Nebula takes the lead there. And Blue Bottle will manage to hold on to second place ahead of White Flame. Nicely done there by Nebula. Blue Bottle, they fell behind, but White Flame could not get past. A nice block there from Blue Bottle, actually, to move to that spot to block White Flame and Mahi Mahi. Those two move on to the final. And the second semi-final, Derek, Anchor, Ruby, and Knight. Down they go. Ruby out to the lead. Anchor behind. Can Derek or Knight make a charge? No, they can't. Ruby and Anchor will move on to the final. Nicely done there by those two. It's very comfortable, honestly. Knight tried to make a move on Derek, but couldn't get it past Anchor or Ruby. And those two marbles move on very easily. Standings 5th through 8th. It is Derek who takes the 5th place spot, just ahead of Knight, White Flame. And then Mahi in 8th. But moving on to the final, Nebula, Anchor, Blue Bottle, and Ruby. Down they go. Anchor out to the lead. Nebula's challenging, but Anchor's going to get away. And Anchor will win the gold medal in hurdles. That is their first gold medal since the last event of Season 5. And that is a very strong performance here from Anchor. Well-deserved gold there for them. A very nice performance there in the first heat. And then they just held that performance level all the way to the final to win the gold. Nebula, a nice silver medal, and Ruby takes the bronze. With that event done, Nebula has now taken 3 silver medals in a row and is now 5 points ahead of Blue Bottle, who is 9 points ahead of Knight. They're in 3rd. Anchor's gold, though, bumps them up 6 spots. They're into 7th. Very nicely done there from them to move up that many spots with just one event. We have 5 events to go in Season 7, and the next one will be Collision Curling. So I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. We are wrapping up the 3rd quarter of the A Division here with Event 12, Collision Curling, an event that's been in this tournament since very early on. 4 miles at a time, they'll roll down onto that board. They'll collide with each other and have to try and stay as close to the middle as possible. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80, and then 100 points if you land on that middle spot there. Currently at the top of the standings, Nebula is 5 points ahead of Blue Bottle. And those two are quite a ways ahead of the rest of the pack. So we'll see what this event has for us. Looking at the example run, the Corporation and Chivalry. Down here to show us how this goes. They collide in the middle there. Only Core and Chivalry managed to get points there. Core with a nice 60 actually. Disciples Team and Core get 0. But here we go with the first heat. Lapis, Discharge, Derek, and Raven. Just to show us how they can do. Down they come for their first time. Derek, nice on the 50 there, but Raven brings that back to an 80. Very nicely done. A 20 for Discharge and nothing for Lapis. Their second time down, they collide. Discharge managed to bring them back to a 40. Derek is a 30 and 10s for Raven and Lapis. Not that many points there. Their third time down, split apart, but there comes Derek all the way to 100. That's amazing from them. Discharge gets a 60 as well. Very nicely done. And their final time down. Here they go. Big split apart. Lapis and Raven both hit a 60. So does Discharge, I believe. And Derek gets a 50. But that 230-point score is going to be a new record from Derek. An excellent performance here from that marble. That's going to put them very comfortably at the top of the standings. Some good scores here. 180 from Discharge. 150 from Raven. Lapis with that 70. Not a good score compared to the others. Heats 2 here, Mantis, Lollipop, Pixie, and Ruby for this second heat. Let's see what they can do, how they stack up against our first marbles that came down here. How do they do? Looks like a 40 for Ruby and 30 for Pixie. Mantis and Lollipop only 10 each. Not the best starts. Down they come again for their second roll. Again, doesn't look to be the best. Pixie and Mantis both pick up 40s, but Lollipop and Ruby, neither of them will get any points for that. Third time down out of 4, split apart, and that's going to be very low. Mantis gets a 30, Lollipop a 20, 0s for Pixie and Ruby. And their last time down, can any of them pull this back to get an overall good score? Doesn't look like it. Pixie and Mantis both get 30s, Ruby a 0, Lollipop a 10. And none of the marbles will manage to even secure what could have possibly been a podium spot. Mantis slots in at 4th, Pixie 5th, and Lollipop and Ruby are bottom 2 currently. Next up, Mahi Mahi, Anchor, Andromeda, and White Flame coming in for the third heat of marbles. Can any of them break into that top 3? Down they come here. Split apart quite far. White Flame managed to bring that back to a 50. Not excellent from anyone else. Second time down. Andromeda, they bring that back to a 60. White Flame on the 40. Anchor is going to hold him for a 10, I think. Mahi 0. Third time down. How do they do? Andromeda, that's excellent. So Anchor lands in the 100. Andromeda an 80. Mahi 40. White Flame 0. Brilliant from both Anchor and Andromeda. And their final time down. How will this end? It's split apart quite far. None of them really do very well. Andromeda gets a 30 and Mai also a 30. And we're hearing this is going to be a tiebreaker round between Mai and Pixie with the same exact score distributions. Who's going to get it here? Pixie on the 30, Mai gets the 40. Mai will win that tiebreaker and finish above Pixie. But it's Andromeda who shoots up into second place, 190. Anchor managed to slot in at 5th. White Flame at 6 and Mai at 8th. And the final heat, Black Rose, Blue Bottle, Nebula, and Knight, our current top 4. These heats have been based on those groups of 4 in the standings. What can these marbles do? Down they come, they collide in the middle. Knight, they managed to win the back to a 60. Blue Bottle gets 0 though, Black Rose 10, Nebula 20. Second time down, here they come. Collide in the middle, Nebula, that brings that back to a 40. Blue Bottle a 30, Knight 10, Black Rose 0. Not really any standout scores here so far. Down they come again. Nebula goes quite far. Black Rose brings that back to a nice 50. Nebula also lands on the 50. Knight on the 40. Blue Bottle another 0. And the final collision for this event. Down they come. Black Rose is going to settle on the 40. Nebula on the 30. Blue Bottle 10. Knight 0. And that will secure an outstanding victory from Derek. 230 points and a new record. A very well-deserved gold. Andromeda the silver and Discharge gets the bronze. With the conclusion of Event 12, we only have 1 quarter of this season remaining, and Nebula is 15 points clear of Blue Bottle in second, and 16 points clear of Knight there in third. Further down the standings, not only has Derek's gold medal lifted them up 5 spots, but now every single marble in Season 7A has now got at least 1 medal to their name. And with this season rapidly approaching its end, there is very little time for some of those lower down marbles to make an attempt for a podium spot or even the lead. But next time I see you, we will return to Collision Curling for the B Division, so I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. We are here with the final quarter of this season with Event 13, Elimination Race. In this event, all 16 marbles will roll down this quite treacherous track that you have a look at here. The last to get to the end will be eliminated, then move to 16, 14, 13 and so on until there's just 1 marble left. Taking a look at the track here, a couple of red bumpers, tape attached to those white rods there. A little white rod section there as well, and then finally bumpers to end it again. And then that is the end of that track. Looking at the current standings, Nebula is 15 points ahead of Blue Bottle and 16 ahead of Knight. So we'll see how that adds up after this event. Taking a look at the example run, Chivalry and the Corporation as usual. Down they come, taking a look at this track. Disciples see a nice move over that bumper there. Core falling behind, it seems. But again, there's a lot of space to move up in this track, so Disciples to get stuck there. Chivalry takes the lead. Core seems to knock them into that little section there. Bit dirty-handed for an example run, but you know, can't really blame them for trying to win. And only Core and Core will finish their Disciples T, and Chivalry failed to finish. As you can see, it's quite a treacherous track. Anyway, our 16 marbles, here they come. Going down, Lollipop seems to take the lead there. In the back, it is Lapis. Having a lot of trouble with those bumpers, and then more trouble in that tape section. And then in the white rod section, we might just call it the white section at this point, because white rod's a lot to say. But Lapis is very much losing out here, and they will be eliminated first. Not what they want to see down there in the standings. They are out. Out in round 1, that is 16th place for them. Next round, round 2. 15 marbles left, down they come. Looks like it's Lollipop and Black Rose out there in the lead. In the back though, it is Blue Bottle. That is bad for the marble in second place, but very good for Nebula, who is also having trouble here.
Can Blue Ball maybe make an overtake here? No, they can't. Getting stuck in the bumper again. They seem to be having a lot of trouble with those, and Nebula's going to get away. Meaning Blue Bottle in second place is going to be eliminated. There they go there. And that is very good for Nebula. They can maybe make up some points now, but it remains to be seen what maybe Knight does. Black Rose, Andromeda. Those marbles also close behind. Down we go again. Looks like it's Discharge there in the back. We see Black Rose, Knight, Derek, White Flame, all having trouble here. Discharge still falling behind though. They pass Knight. Knight passes back Derek and Black Rose, but then they fall behind again, and it looks like Knight is going to be eliminated. That is the third place marble, the only other marble really in striking distance, Nebula, who is eliminated now. They will take 14th. Down we go again. This is looking very good for Nebula. They seem to be able to make up a lot of points here if they don't fall out quickly now. In the back, it is Nebula though, fighting with Black Rose. There's, I think, Pixie there as well. Black Rose falling behind. There's Mantis, Anchor. Maybe they can pass one of them. They managed to pass Andromeda and Anchor is the one who loses out. Anchor is eliminated there in round 4. They will be taking 13th place. Up into round 5. A quarter of our marbles have been eliminated. Down they come for this 5th round. Trying to make their way down as quick as they can. Black Rose is in the back again. Trying to get past Mahi. Ruby maybe. Doesn't seem to be doing it. Good move through those bumpers. They move very quickly through those, but Ruby's got him stuck there. And they're not going to be freed by Mantis. And Ruby is our first DNF elimination here in this event. They will take 12th. Round 6 now. Down they come. We've only got one line of marbles here. And down Mantis, Andromeda, Black Rose isn't doing well here, but it's Nebula in the back. Trying to catch up to maybe Discharge or White Flame. Doesn't look to be going well for them though. They're having trouble with that bumper. Can they maybe catch Discharge? No, they've fallen way far behind. And Nebula is going to be eliminated. That's good for Black Rose and Andromeda. Those two marbles are still in it. As Nebula is eliminated, those are the only two really high up in the standings that can really have a chance here at attacking Nebula's position. And down we go again. Black Rose seems to be in the back with Mahi. There's a Lollipop. Derek, Black Rose makes their way through pretty comfortably. Mahi has gotten stuck. And that's going to be good for Derek, who is quite far in the back here. So Mahi will be eliminated. Second DNF elimination. Derek clearly taking that time there, as Mahi is already guaranteed to be eliminated in round 7. Round 8. Only one more marble won't make it in the top half. Who will it be? Down they go. Looks like it's Mantis, White Flame, Black Rose in the back there. Black Rose has the most trouble. They're attacking White Flame. Now they make it through. Can they hold this? Raven's there as well. Black Rose makes a bit of an over-under move, loses out. White Flame's trying to make a pass on Derek here, maybe, but it's not going to happen. And White Flame is the last marble in the bottom half of the standings. They will take 9th. Let's take a little retrospective of that. Round 8, White Flame, followed by Mahi, Nebula there, 11th. Ruby, Anchor, Knight in 14th, Blue Bottle 15th, and Lapis 16th. A lot of high-ranking marbles there are out. We have 8 left. In round 9, down they come. Looks like that's Derek who is in the lead there. Pixie now, Mantis maybe. Derek has now fallen behind, even after that good start. Maybe trying to catch Andromeda. Pixie maybe. Derek still trying to catch someone here, and they've catch Mantis. Mantis seem to get complacent there after taking a lead, and they are being eliminated. Unfortunate for that marble, they will take 8th. Moving on to round 10. 7 marbles left. Down they come. Pixie is the first to that bumper, but they fall behind quickly. Discharge trying to make up spots here. Maybe on Raven, on Pixie, on Derek. They pass Raven, and then pass Derek, who then passes Pixie. Pixie needs to make something big here, but it's not going to happen, and Pixie is the next marble eliminated in round 10. They will take 7th overall. 6 marbles remain. Coming into round 11. Down they go. Rolling around in this elimination race. Trying to make their way down this course as quick as they can. Discharge having a lot of trouble here. Maybe they can catch Lollipop. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. And Discharge has fallen very far behind. Let's think a big move on Lollipop here. It's not going to happen, and Discharge, fairly uneventfully, is eliminated and will take 6th overall, meaning we have our final 5 as Discharge takes 6th. It is Derek, Andromeda, Black Rose, Raven, and Lollipop in this top 5. And right now it's Black Rose in the back, but now Lollipop falls behind. Now it's Raven and Black Rose in the back. Andromeda is in the lead here. Black Rose trying to jostle for positions. They've fallen to last here. Can they maybe overtake someone? Maybe Derek, who's having trouble, doesn't look like it. Can they sneak through? Yes, they do. And Raven is going to lose out there. A fantastic move by Black Rose. And Raven loses out because of it. They take 5th. 4 marbles remain in round 13. Down they come. Only 3 of these can have podium spots. So who will miss out? Andromeda, they take the lead along with Lollipop. Derek fighting with Black Rose here for 4th. Black Rose seems to make it through. Derek has trouble. Can Derek maybe make a last-ditch effort here to overtake Andromeda? It's not going to happen. Andromeda escapes. Derek is eliminated. Will take 4th place, which means we have our podium marbles. It is Lollipop, Andromeda, and Black Rose. But where on the podium will they fall? Down they come. Looks like it's Black Rose who makes the quickest moves through that bumper. Andromeda is having a lot of trouble here. It's the first time really we've seen them have a lot of trouble, and it's not looking good for them. Can they maybe overtake Lollipop here, who's having trouble with the bumper? Andromeda has more trouble with the bumper. Black Rose is already finished. It's between Andromeda and Lollipop, and then Lollipop's going to get away. Andromeda is eliminated. Will take the bronze medal for their efforts, which means we are down to a 1 versus 1 between Lollipop and Black Rose, who will take gold in the elimination race. Down they go. Lollipop seems to have the early lead as they move into the first set of bumpers. Lollipop gets away, but Black Rose right behind. Through the tape section, Lollipop still holding. Into the white rod section, Lollipop gets through first, but here comes Black Rose making the pass in the bumpers. Can Lollipop challenge here? They try to make a move around, but it doesn't work, and Black Rose is gonna get away and will win elimination race in Season 7, Event 13. An excellent effort there by Black Rose. They had some close calls, but overall they managed to survive the longest and take a well-deserved gold medal above Lollipop with the silver and Andromeda with bronze. After this event, Nebula does still have the lead, but it has come down from 15 points to 10 points with Black Rose there. That gold medal moves them up into 2nd place. Andromeda moving up into 3rd with that bronze medal. Looks like Lapis is now the first marble to be unable to win. They can still technically podium, although I find that very unlikely to happen. And we have 3 events left. Next up will be Warriors Gauntlet. So I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. We are here with Event 14, Warriors Gauntlet. A very large and quite long event here with multiple sections. Standard heat system, but it is quite a treacherous track we have here today. There's that first section of a straight and then a split section of multiple pathways that moves into an off-road section with that one little turn there, and then finally through those little splitters and then down to the final white rod section with a few bumpers at the end. Nebula is still at the top of the standings, 10 points ahead of Black Rose and 13 points of Andromeda. And there's only 3 events to go, so these last 2 events are going to be very, very important. The example run, Chivalry and the Corporation, to show us how this goes, moving along through that split section, down through the off-road and into the final white rod section. Looks like Core has gotten stuck up there. Chivalry will get to the end. Core and Disciples T on those bumpers. And that is the end of Warriors Gauntlet. So let's move to this first heat. We have Andromeda, Blue Bottle, Mantis, and Mahi Mahi. Down they come. Mantis takes the early lead through the split section. Blue Bottle Looks to be a bit quicker on that right side, but Mantis retakes the lead in the off-road section. Mai also challenging, Andromeda very far behind. Moving to the white rod section here. Mantis still leading. Can Blue Bottle hold off Mai? Yes, they can, and they even pass Mantis right at the end. Blue Bottle and Mantis will move on. Unfortunate for Andromeda, they did not do well and even got held up by the bumpers at the end, but it's going to be quite a long time for them. Let's take another look at this final section here. Mantis had a good lead. Blue Bottle was kind of fighting with Mai here, but they did manage to make it through quicker. And then even at the end, managed to make a nice pass on Mantis to take the win of the heat. Those two will move on quite comfortably. Andromeda, 22 seconds, not a good time. Heat 2, Black Rose, Anchor, Raven, and Discharge. Down they come. Anchor and Raven out to the lead. Split section there. Raven takes the lead. That right section of the split seems to be quicker. Black Rose challenging in second. They pass Raven into first. Can maybe Anchor catch Raven? It's not even going to be close. Black Rose and Raven will move on quite comfortably. Taking that section on the right seemed to be quite a little bit quicker. Here's the move from Black Rose on Raven, challenging there. Nice move on Anchor as well. And then just clean to the end. They will take some very comfortable victories to move on to the semifinals. Heat 3, Pixie, Nebula, Lollipop, and Derek. Down they come, Lollipop into the lead with Nebula just behind. Lollipop's the only one who takes that left side. Pixie, nice move on Nebula, and passes Lollipop as well. And they're very quick through that third section. They're going to make it to the end before anyone else even gets close. Lollipop fighting with Derek here. Lollipop will hold Nebula, and Derek are eliminated. Nebula, championship leader, being eliminated here. That would be quite interesting for the standings. Very nice move here from Pixie on Nebula. Going past them, and then they just were excellent through to the end. Lollipop had a bit of a battle with Derek. Derek got held up, and Lollipop was therefore able to hold it and move on. 13.045 seconds from Pixie. That is amazing time. But here is the final heat. Ruby, Knight, White Flame, and Lapis. Down they go. White Flame is quickest through the first section. Lapis only one to take that left side again, and they seem to be quite far behind because of it. Ruby has made up a massive lead in that off-road section. They are looking very good here, but they get stuck here up on the bumpers, and Lapis is going to sneak past both White Flame and Ruby to move on with Knight. What happened to Ruby there? They were so far ahead. But then on these just final bumpers, they got held up. Knight snatched the win, and Lapis, an excellent move past White Flame to move on with Knight. Very well done by those two marbles. Taking a look at the bottom half of the standings, Nebula does take 9th, followed by Derek, White Flame, Ruby, Mahi, Discharge, Anchor, and Andromeda down there, far in last place. The first semi-final, Raven, Blue Bottle, Pixie, and Lapis. Down they come. Blue Bottle leads with Lapis taking the left side again, the only one to do that. Blue Bottle and Raven quite far ahead. Here comes Pixie though, charging. Lapis makes a nice move into first place, and Pixie then moves past both Raven and Blue Bottle. One move, Lapis will take the win, and Pixie will take second. Raven manages third, Blue Bottle last. But that was quite an interesting heat, especially that move from Pixie there. Very nicely done here from Lapis to move past both Blue Bottle and Raven, just a couple moves. But then there comes Pixie. They bounce right over Raven and manage to pass them like that. Quite a daring move from Pixie there, but it does pay off. And Lapis and Pixie will move on to the final. Second semi-final. Black Rose, Mantis, Knight, and Lollipop. Down they go. Mantis takes the lead. Lollipop the only one taking the left side. Mantis, Black Rose, and Knight all take the right. Knight now makes the move into first place with Mantis, Lollipop, and Black Rose chasing behind. Knight seems to take this easily. They will cross the line first. Who's going to take second? It will be Mantis. Black Rose gets held up. They also get past by Lollipop. Having trouble with those bumpers there. But Knight is the one who takes the win here with a very nice performance. See this move past both Black Rose and Mantis in a single nicely placed charge. They held that to the end. And then here comes Mantis. Black Rose almost had a chance, but they went too high on that bumper, got held back, and will take last place in that heat. Standings 5th through 8th. Lollipop takes the 5th place spot, followed by Raven, Blue Bottle, and then Black Rose in 8th. But let's move on to the final. Knight, Pixie, Lapis, and Mantis. Down they go. Lapis in the lead here. Knight and Mantis take the left side. Lapis and Pixie take the right. Seems like Lapis's lead is holding here, but here comes Pixie charging past. And they take it all the way to the end. Knight's going to take second. Lapis third. Mantis will take fourth. And Pixie, with one excellent move, takes the gold medal in Warriors Gauntlet. Look at that, just jumping past both Knight and Lapis with an excellent fourth section. They have been brilliant every time in that fourth section in this event. Knight will take the silver and Lapis the bronze. Mantis gets fourth, but of course Pixie with that 12.479 second time. That is the fastest time we've seen in this event. They take a very well-earned gold. "14 events gone, and Nebula is still ahead by 9 points ahead of Knight and Black Rose, both tied on 137 there in second and third. Pixie's gold medal lifts them up 7 spots. Meanwhile, there are now 7 marbles unable to win this season, with Ruby and Lapis also completely unable to even land on the podium. So it will be quite interesting to see how this tournament continues to develop into the final 2 events. Next time, we will return to Warriors Gauntlet in the B Division. So I will see you then. Hello everybody and welcome back to Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. We are here with the penultimate event of the A Division, jousting. In this event, 2 marbles at a time, they'll roll down those 2 ramps and collide in the middle. The marble that stays on those blocks the longest without falling off will be the winner of that joust. A fairly simple event, but will take quite a lot of skill to win it. Currently at the top of the standings, it is still Nebula, although Knight, having had that mistake in the points fixed, is only 8 points behind. So this is really heating up in these last 2 events. Here's the example run between Core and Chivalry. Come to the middle. Looks like Core's going to take that win there. Chivalry hitting the ground before them. And it's a very simple event. And let's see how our marbles do it. First up, Pixie and Anchor. Season 6 champion against the champion of Season 1 and Season 5. Down they come to show us jousting, and Anchor takes a massive victory there. Pixie didn't seem to get much force on them. You know, Anchor hit Pixie quite hard to take the victory. Very nice time there from Anchor, 1.5 seconds. It's a very, very long time. Meanwhile, next up we've got Mantis and White Flame in Heat 2. Down they come, and White Flame again. Fairly easy victory there for that marble against Mantis. Seems to just be stronger there in that collision in the middle. Held on longer, and White Flame will take a very well-deserved victory, also almost reaching a second. Heat 3, Discharge and Blue Bottle. Blue Bottle, they still have a chance at maybe winning this league if they do well here. Down they come, but no, they lose to Discharge. Discharge performs excellently in that joust. Gets down quicker, hits Blue Bottle harder, and they take the win over that marble. Blue Bottle probably not going to have a chance of winning now. Ruby and Black Rose in Heat 4. Black Rose currently in 3rd place in the standings. Can they defeat Ruby here? No, they cannot. Ruby will take the win in this event over Black Rose. Seem to be quite close, at least closer than the first 3 heats. But Ruby will still take a fairly comfortable victory. Next up, Lapis against Nebula. Nebula, current leader. Lapis is currently in last place. We'll see if that reflects in this heat. Down they come, and that's very close. I am not sure who won that. Gonna have to take a look at the replay here. Very close between these two, but just barely Nebula holds on over Lapis to take the win. Very, very close, but Nebula moves on. Heat 6, Lollipop up against Andromeda. Andromeda, another marble there. They still have a chance to win this tournament. They do well here. That's also going to be very, very close. Lollipop seemed to perform quite well here. So did Andromeda, though. Taking a look at the replay, and Andromeda has lost to Lollipop just as Blue Bottle lost to Discharge.
That's definitely going to dash their championship hopes. Lollipop moves on. Knight against Raven, the host. And, well, Raven. Knight looking to do well here so they can maybe overtake Nebula. Down these two come, and Knight, that's a crushing victory over Raven. They are quite very, understandably, the favorite in this event. This is, of course, their tournament. They are the host, and they move on. Mahi Mahi against Derek. Down they come into the middle. These marbles both been doing all right this season, and Mahi Mahi is going to take that win fairly easily. Derek, not exactly known for their prowess in strength events. Mahi Mahi has been doing quite well this season for what they've shown in the past, and they continue that here with that victory in the final heat. Standings from 9th through to 16th. Mantis takes the 9th place spot, followed by Black Rose, Lapis, Pixie, Andromeda, Blue Willow, Derek, and then Raven there in last. Quarter final 1. We got Nebula against Anchor. Going to be quite an interesting semi-final. Down they come, and Anchor's going to take the win here. Anchor takes down the current leader in the standings. Very nicely done there from Anchor. Didn't seem to have much trouble with Nebula there at all, and a comfortable victory for them. Next up, Discharge up against White Flame. Both of these marbles are original season marbles. How do they do here? And White Flame's going to take that victory fairly easily against Discharge in this event. Take a look at the replay. Discharge didn't seem to get much force off against White Flame. White Flame overpowers them and takes that win. Lollipop against Mahi Mahi for the third quarter final. Mahi Mahi did have a more comfortable win in the heats. Will that reflect here? Down they come. Yes, it will. Mahi Mahi, another comfortable victory here over Lollipop this time, who really only barely defeated Andromeda. Look at that replay. Nice technique there by Mahi Mahi. Lollipop is defeated. Mahi Mahi moves on to the semi-finals. And the final quarterfinal, Knight versus Ruby, to end off the second round of bouts. Down they come, and Knight, another comfortable victory, similar to what happened against Raven. Ruby did not seem to have much chance there. Could not stand up to Knight, and that marble will take the win. Standings from 5th through 8th. Discharge will take the 5th place spot. Nebula there in 6th. Lollipop 7th. And Ruby in 8th. But moving on to the semi-finals. Knight against Mahi Mahi. Only one of these will move on and have a chance at winning the gold. Who will it be? Down they come, and it's going to be another victory for Knights. They've had very comfortable victories in every bout so far. They crush Mahi Mahi here and will move on to the final. Mahi Mahi will move on to the bronze match against either White Flame or Anchor. Rivals from all the way back in Season 1, second and first in that season respectively. Who will take the win to face Knight in the final here? It's going to be very, very close. My goodness, these two. Who has taken the win here? Taking a look at the replay, it is Anchor, just barely bests White Flame, just as they did in Season 1, and will face Knight in the final. But before that, the bronze match. White Flame against Mahi Mahi to take third place in Event 15. Down they come, and that's another very close match. Not 100% sure who got that. White Flame did look a bit stronger, though. Yes, they do take this win over Mahi Mahi. White Flame secures the bronze medal. But the main event, Knight versus Anchor. Who will take the gold medal in Event 15 Jousting? Down they come into the middle, and that's another very close match. I'm not sure who's taking this one. Between Knight or Anchor, who is it? It's gonna be Knight. The host wins Event 15, taking down Anchor to secure the gold all for themselves. A very impressive performance by Knight in this event. Anchor put up a performance worthy of a silver medal, and White Flame, of course, takes the bronze. Not only has Knight won Jousting, they are also now back at the top of the standings, 2 points above Nebula going into the final event. Black Rose there in third does still have a chance at maybe overtaking both of those marbles to win this league still, but no one else is able, with only Blue Bottle and Andromeda still having small chances at a podium. All will be decided in the final event, lap racing. See you then. Hello everybody and welcome to the final event of Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. Event 16, lap racing. We saw this event for the finale of the B Division last time, and now we have it for the main league. In this event, all 16 marbles race down this track for 15 laps in attempts to win the race overall after those 15 laps and, well, finish as high as they can overall in the season. The championship battle. There are 3 marbles that can win this season. The host Knight in first, 2 points above Nebula in second, and then Black Rose with a very outside chance there in third. We also have a Blue Bottle and Andromeda with possible chances of still landing up on the podium. Here is the starting order decided in the qualifiers. Discharge leading. Black Rose there in second, Mantis third, Raven, Knight, Andromeda, Ruby, Blue Bottle, Anchor, White Flame, Pixie, Derek, Nebula, Lollipop, Mai, and Lapis there in last to start us off. Black Rose and Knight both in good starting positions. Nebula, they'll have to do some work. As here we go with the first lap of this final event. Discharge in the leaders. Black Rose quickly falls behind, so they've made it back up into fourth. Mantis there in second. Now there's Raven. Pixie has made a nice move. Knight's there in fourth now. Discharge lead holds throughout the first lap. Knight there in fourth. Black Rose fifth. Nebula has not really made up any spots there. Discharge here in lap 2, leading us. Pixie up into second, and now first. The defending champion, even though they can't defend their title, is still making moves here in this final event. Mantis there makes the overtake into first, past Pixie. Knight there holding a nice third place position. They're followed then by Discharge, Andromeda, and then Black Rose in sixth. As we move into lap 3, Pixie tries to make the move past Mantis, doesn't get it on that turn. Maybe they can get it here or on the straightaway. Yes, they do. Coming out of that bank turn, Pixie has retaken the lead from Mantis. Andromeda there in third, Knight in fourth. Nebula still quite far behind in the order compared to Knight and Black Rose. Lap 4 now, down they come. Pixie's lead holding, but there's Knight. They're challenging here, trying to take down the Season 6 champion and become Season 7 champion, and they've moved now into first place. The host and current first place position in the standings, Knight, is now in the lead. Making a very good fight for the championship here is Knight. Black Rose and Nebula not doing as much. Pixie retakes the lead, and then Knight takes it back from them. Here comes Andromeda up into first, as well as Mantis there. Black Rose has moved up into fourth now. It is Mantis leading us out of the 5th lap. It is 1/3 of this race gone, and it is Mantis in the lead with Andromeda there in second, Knight in third, Black Rose fourth, Blue Bottle fifth. Round past that banked turn, Mantis still holding this lead. Andromeda fighting, Knight fighting, Derek fighting there in fifth as well, actually. Discharge has fallen all the way down to 16th from pole position, though. They're not doing very well after those first couple laps. Andromeda in the lead here. Knight still holding third. Derek hoping to pass them now. The Knight's fallen to fourth. Move back up into third, though a lot of gaggle of marbles there rushing into that bank turn. Andromeda holds the lead, though, coming into the next lap. About halfway through this race now with 7 laps gone. Nebula is there behind Black Rose, but both of them still need to make up past Knight. Mantis in the lead here, holding off Andromeda and Derek, though here comes Knight. They've moved back into first for a second there. Mantis re-overtook them, but then Knight passed them back. Black Rose and Nebula still quite far behind the championship leader. Pixie, meanwhile, they've fallen all the way back to last from where they were, leading a couple of laps ago. Knight now has a very nice lead. Still battling with Andromeda here. Andromeda makes the move into first. Blue Bottle there in third. Knight holding second. Black Rose and Nebula nowhere to be seen near the top of the order. Right now, this is looking like Knight is just completely running away with this. Down they come again. Andromeda holding this lead, round through these turns, through that banked turn that we saw in the B division last time was very important as Discharge has moved back into first from their pole position. Very nicely done. White Flame there's in third, and Nebula's now in fourth, ahead of Knight in sixth. The first time Nebula has really challenged for this lead. Lap 11 now, 5 laps to go. Discharge, Andromeda, White Flame all fighting for this lead. There's Nebula there in fourth. Will they fall back and make a bad move on the bank turn? They've now fallen quite far behind as Derek takes the lead from Mantis. Nebula now, they're all the way back behind the Black Rose in 13th and 14th respectively. Those two very far behind Knights. 4 laps remain. Down they come. Derek in the lead here. Fighting with Discharge and Mantis. There's Blue Bottle. Makes the move on the bank turn, but Mantis gets a better move out of it. But Blue Bottle retakes that lead on the final turns with 3 laps to go. Knight there in 5th. Black Rose last. Nebula still near the back of the order. Lap 13. Discharge. They take the lead now from Blue Bottle. Rounding that banked turn. There's Knight making the move up into 3rd. White Flames there as well. Mantis leading though, just ahead of Andromeda. Black Rose and Nebula nowhere to be seen at the front of the order. 2 laps remain. Mantis in the lead here. Down they come. White Flame is also fighting for it there. So is Derek. Andromeda. Lollipop's now moved up into 5th for a brief while there. Andromeda leading, but they're passed up by White Flame coming into the final lap. Knights there in 4th. Black Rose about the middle of the order. Nebula in 15th. This is the final lap of Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. Down they come. White Flame in the lead. Knight in 5th. They are holding this championship. White Flame still leading this. There comes Black Rose up into 4th, into 3rd, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to push the line, and Knight wins Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship on their home turf. It is all over for Season 7. Your podium here. White Flame, Andromeda, Black Rose, Nebula all the way down in dead last, meaning Knight in 7th has done enough to win Season 7 of the Kolskor Marble Championship. And I believe Black Rose's bronze here is enough to overtake Nebula for the overall silver in this season. But that is it from me. After the podium ceremony will be the Season 7 closing ceremony. I hope you enjoy that, and thank you for watching. Whenever next time comes, I will see you then.